views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Straight ahead on this edition of Perspectives, we go front and center with the Black Lives Matter movement. How relevant is it? How important is it? And why is it being discredited today? Nana Camille Yarborough is our guest. We talk about that on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Darren Hyman.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective, which shines a light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference.
What's your perspective?
Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Darren Hyman. Of course, we invite you to stay connected to us here at Perspectives. You can catch us every week on BronxNet's Channel 67, Verizon Fios, that would be Channel 33, where we bring you news, current events, and information. Glad to say that we are entering or getting ready to enter into our 15th season here at Perspectives, and certainly we'll be bringing you some highlights, some recaps of some of the major guests and stories that we've covered throughout our 15-year career here on Perspectives. But today we go front and center with a major issue that's affecting America, and that is the Black Lives Matter movement. And many people have spoken about the Black Lives Matter movement to question its credibility. Why is it even existing? And is it relevant? Here to join us today in studio to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement is none other than Nana Camille Yarborough, who's an author. She's got her own TV show. She's taught me in African American studies when I was at City College University, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you. Nice to
Welcome
be back.
back.
Nice
There's
to
about
be
10
back.
other titles I can give you,
yes,
but
yes, that's all right.
activist and then some. And in the middle of writing, I should say, her autobiography is at this time. And so congratulations and glad to have you.
Congratulations on 15 years of doing this.
It's a long time doing
Yes,
it.
is.
We're glad to be here.
It is.
I want to talk a little bit about Black Lives Matter. Actually, not a little bit, a lot. A lot has been said about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I want to get your take because I was asked recently by a politician about Black Lives Matter. And this is what he asked me. He said, if we talk about Black Lives Matter, I'm not sure how to really articulate what Black Lives Matter really means. It's important to me, but I really don't know how to fully articulate. So for somebody who really doesn't understand what Black Lives Matter really is about, let's give him a quick education lesson.
Was he white or black?
He was white.
Thank you. That says a lot right there. Of course it's relevant. Of course we should be talking about it. And he, I think, really knows what it's about. Unfortunately, you know, we in this country, black people of African ancestry, we who were brought here and went through enslavement and the whole movement, the lynching and everything, there's no reason for us to question its being here. What happened in Ferguson, what's happening across the country, where our young men and some middle-aged and women are being murdered, and when they go to court, they're on trial, those who killed them, they're not really prosecuted. You see a prosecutor not prosecuting, and you're sitting up there looking. Yes, Black Lives Matter. We've known it. White people have known that our lives matter. They have profited on our lives for centuries now. We have fought against that. Coming over here, being captured, run, and put on those slave ships, being brought over here. We knew Black Lives Matter, and we fought against it. We rebelled on the ships, you understand. All lives matter, yes. But all people are not having happen to them what is happening to us right now. And it's a racial matter, and it's a power matter, it's a control matter. We respect ourselves, and if we did not have a movement such as Black Lives Matter, just bringing it to your attention. Right. By the way, another one of us was shot. By the way, a sister was stopped in her car for really petty reasons ended up dead in prison. That life matters. All of our lives matter. And so, yes, we have to talk about it. And we have to put it in your face every day until we get some change.
How do you get to the place where you have people now who want to downplay Black Lives Matter by saying all lives matter? And as I've shared with people before, by saying Black Lives Matter, it does not make you a racist.
Nope.
It does not make you totally one-sided. But what I've said is that when we talk about Black Lives Matter, all black people pretty much are looking for, and people of color are looking for, is equality.
Absolutely. We want justice. And if we don't, what is that saying? Charity begins at home. Respect begins at home. It begins with your family. And so, of course, what is happening to us, we have to talk about. It's very sick that the larger society, and I'm not saying all whites, I'm not saying all of them, but those who are mainly in the media, who will, for example, they put a spin on this. Black Lives Matter. Then they twist it and say, well, why don't white lives matter? Was your mother, I'm writing my autobiography now, and it goes back to the 50s, 40s, okay, when my sister's fiance was lynched in Mississippi. And I remember my mother and my grandmother saying, the racism will not end in our lifetimes. They were so hurt. And being a young girl and hearing us and having my youth, I said to myself, it's going to stop in our age. We're going to stop it. And in the 50s and 60s, there was a great movement to push back racism, to bring enlightenment to the oppressive community. And it happened for a while. Understand that it's been about 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, of growth of racism retrenching itself because we had stopped it. We had put a hold on it. The racists in this country had to sit back and say, well, I'm not really racist, I'm going to try. And they tried for a while. But for some reason, they like to hold on. It's a matter of power, control. Looking at what's my Sister Davis the other day, Viola Davis, who spoke, and she was brilliant in the context of what she said. She even quoted Harriet Tubman. She went back to that place and said, and then she thanked all the sisters, having been in show business and having gone through a lot of racism. I mean, being a black woman in show business, and it's quiet now, but it's still there. You pay dues. And for her having spoken up the way she did, and all the sisters in the community, I mean, all the actresses, saying, yes, Viola, that offended some people. Why should that have offended people? In this context, white America has to stand up and say, oh, let us examine who we are. You know, black people have been defining themselves and redefining themselves. We have been named nigger, coon, darky, spook, everything over the years. And then they say, well, why do you call yourself that name? We didn't do it. You did it first. So let them look at themselves for a while. Yes, why does your life matter, white man, white woman? Why does your life matter? And then let them tell us why their life matters. And how are we different from you? Why is it that your life can matter, and when we say our lives matter, you get offended? You're the one in charge.
True indeed. Take a message. I mean, should probably take a break and come back with more on the message about Black Lives Matter. Nana Camille Yarborough, our guest in studio. Coming up, what can we do to convey that message in an even stronger tone?
we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
Hey, it's Ava, and this is Tess from Do It Your Selfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old pile of t-shirts.
It's not garbage, it's actually a new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
And glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life.
And recycle.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And we're out. You got plans?
You bet. 50 million Americans struggle with hunger, but we can do something about it.
Excuse me. What's going on?
Dinner. Please join me in helping put food on their tables. Together, we can feed America.
You guys keep going. I'm gonna get the plates.
Plates?
Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Nana Camille New Yarborough is our guest here. We're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, and as we talked before the break, we wanted to talk about relevance. Is it still relevant today, given the fact that, people said, well, we only see them really rise up when it's about police brutality, and we really see that, this and that, but we're not seeing that much of a voice when it comes to black-on-black crime. This is what critics say. So I want to get your take on that. When talk about Black Lives Matter, should there be more of a voice when it comes time for black-on-black crime?
This is not a post-racial period. Racism is still here, unfortunately. As I was working up at City College in the Black Studies department, it was a very active department. They did lots of outreach, bringing community people onto the campus, bringing our distant relatives from the motherland onto that campus for big Durbar. When the King Asante Hene came here, the Durbar was at City College. When other events happened, we were in the plaza there. The outreach was tight. When I left City College, one of the things I wanted to do, and I had started it before, but I began to work with Reverend Sharpton. I began to work with the attorney Alton Maddox. Remember the Tawana Brawley case? And I was working also at LIB, being guest host for Imhotep Gary Bird. So it was there, I was right in the mix, and I was seeing that because of what happened to Tawana, and I don't believe it was a hoax. I went to trial. I sat in the trial and saw the evidence spoken and shared in the courtroom. All the media was there, white media was there, but that evening, they didn't speak of it. They said it was a circus. They didn't talk about the evidence, they didn't talk about it, but I'm not going to get all involved in that now. In working with them, I saw the community was there for Sharp. People laugh, they talk about him, but there's a lot that he has done, and I was there watching it as a griot, as a writer, as a person of the community. Alton Maddox, the attorney, then other attorneys. I saw what was happening to them. And there have always been organizations working in the community to stop crime. We have to. We're no different from any other community because we like peace and we love our family. I've seen people shot. I've seen the blood coming out. I've seen the people cut and beaten up. I've heard the rapes. And so we have been working against black crime for a long time. It's not true that we only get upset when it happens to a white cop shooting or killing a black person. And we have to understand, and a lot of our energy goes in many directions. Why are we filling up the prisons? We have to understand also that the prisons are there for profit. You know, and they say, we have to fill the prisons. The businessmen who make money off of the prisons say, we have to fill those prisons. And so how do they fill the prisons? Where do they come? They largely, the population in prisons is people of color. Why is it that we are there more than anybody else? It's not just when you go west, it's the Mexicans in prison. People of color in prisons across the country. And it is to the benefit of some people that we are there. We do not bring the narcotics in, at least now. There was a time during the Vietnamese War when the brother was deeply involved in that. But we do not manufacture the guns. We do not have, I'm sorry, there's another place in my community where another liquor store is coming, another liquor store. What happened to our people that we are under such pressure sometimes? And I used to see it when I was young, because sometimes our people would go off like firecrackers. You know, they're nice, go to work during the week, and on the weekends when they start partying, pow, pow. That energy, because something happens to you when you don't know who you are. You don't have enough respect for yourself, and you feel caught. I wrote a song on my album, my first album, The Iron Pot Cooker, and but it comes out mad, because I saw the people. And I was a little girl. I'd go to the store for them. You know, when you're a kid, you go. So come here, you go to the store for me, and get me this, and they'll give me some money and stuff, and I'll go to the store. Or I used to, because I was considered to be a responsible young lady, when something happened to one of the young boys in our community, he was molested. The mothers and fathers said, let's protect our children. And since I was a responsible youth, they said, Camille, would you escort these children to school and back? And so I did that. And I'm looking at these people who worked hard, who loved their children, but they would go off in a minute. They would go off because of the pressure, really, especially at that time. But it's here still now. Many of our people have not step beyond what is taught in the schools. You understand? And what's happening in the schools, that our story is now being taken out of schools more than it was before. More than it was before. So what do you know of yourself? You have the image of yourself as blonde, blue-eyed, tall, with long hair. Right. Now, that's being fought against. One way is that people say, no, my hair is gorgeous. Why should I do this? I used to have my hair on bouffant, put those big rollers in there, sleep with those rollers, have the hot comb in there, doing that stuff. And one day I looked, I think I was listening to Malcolm or listening to Martin, and I was relaxing my hair, and I said, looking in the mirror, I said, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And if you look at pictures during back there, you see this big fro. Because our hair is gorgeous. Just give it respect. My other book, The Shimmer Shine Queens, these two young ladies, that's one of the lines in it. Give your hair respect. Give yourself respect. Europeans give themselves respect. They give their hair respect. They give their color respect. They like our color, of course. But they give themselves, and we have to do this. What I'm saying is that a lot of the crime comes from low self-esteem and lack of the proper education, so you don't know how to control your anger.
Let me ask this question real quick before we go to break. When you talk about the line of respect, people feel as though black people should have respect now. We've got a black president. America respects race because we've got a black president. And we say no, because as much as we call it a post-racial America, we gotta ask the question, when did racism ever end?
It didn't. This takes me into another whole line of who I am as a spiritual person, and that is very deep. I think there's a saying that we make plans, but God makes better plans. And the Creator and the ancestors, the power of us as a people, I think that is what made this phenomenon. How did Obama get elected? How is it that now we have a black family in the White House? It's almost unbelievable in a lot of ways, but it's there. And that president has helped this country in ways which were needed at that time because it was really going to hell. Now, I think that we have a job, since we're here as people of color, we bring with us an antiquity of spirit, of spiritual knowledge, spiritual intelligence that has saved us and saved this country. And so, now I've gotten away from your question, which you restated because I'm going in so many ways.
Talking about with Obama and the post-racial America.
Yeah, it's not post-racial. You look at it's just bringing out the racism. Some people got together who were thinking alike and thinking in a positive manner and said, let's put this very intelligent, very a committed person into the White House. And they did. I watched white people on Broadway starting from 110th to 116th, all those students out there signing people up and selling. They worked hard to get this man. So there are white people who have good intentions and they're working hard at it. But there are others who think that they should not have lost the Civil War, who want that society. What do they say? We want our country back.
Right.
What? What are they talking about? America's in a good position around the world. We want our country back. They want their position back. They want their power as races back. They want to be better again. They want to feel better. Some people just need that. They need to feel better than somebody else. And so they want that back, but it is phony. It is false. And we're not gonna let it happen because as people of color, we're not going back.
That's right. Take a quick break. Back with Nana Camille Yarborough with some final thoughts. We'll be right back right after this.
Back.
And I can't change, even if I try.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Back here, continued our conversation with Nana Camille Yarborough. You really should get the tape in between because that's really some funny stuff. But on a more serious note, as you said, you wanted to elaborate a little bit more on a point that we talked about earlier.
Which point?
I think we talked about Obama and the post-racial America, and you said there was something that you wanted to come back to. If not, I can go ahead with what I got.
Okay, I was just thinking this. We're talking about what shall we do. My point is this. Terrible things happen to us as a people over the centuries. Mm-hmm. We have not had time or the effort or the support to heal. We have wounds. there was an article in the other paper the other day that our children, it has been proven that racism has interfered with their not just self-esteem, but learning at very early age. People go off and have violence because they carry baggage of wounds. There wasn't a time after enslavement, after that so-called freedom, when we were allowed to. Now they have psychiatrists. Now they have healing places where you go and you vent and you talk about what happened and you get it off of you. You don't forget it, but you don't carry that energy of the passion that you had there, of hatred, of anger. You should have been angry at what was happening. But so what we need now is to begin to heal ourselves. We need to say, because there's a lot of, we get angry, mad at each other, a lot of it in the community. We need to learn how to say, I'm sorry. A lot of times we can't say I'm sorry to one another. A lot of times the brothers can't say I'm sorry to sisters, and the sisters can't say I'm sorry to brothers. And there are people in the community who keep that going. So we, as black people of color, have to begin to heal ourselves separate from Europeans, separate. We went through that. We have those wounds, which we have to heal, and it comes through knowledge, information, correct information, and learning to respect ourselves as we used to respect ourselves. My father was from Alabama. His mother, his grandmother, was a healing woman, a woman who was called by her community after the Civil War to come and talk with them because their self-esteem was terribly low. And they knew they needed to go into this freedom world, and they didn't know how to act. And so she came and she spoke with them from whatever background she had. I don't know if she was born here, born in the motherland, and taught certain things. But we, again, have to, when we meet ourselves in the street, greet each other. We used to do that.
We have to heal. Yeah.
We have to, and we have to forgive. You think somebody did something, so-and-so did something to me, and that is that. Stop all of that. Begin to speak words, again, of how are you, what, simple words. Don't bring in the negative, whatever you're thinking of. Now, on television, it is fostered. You see the images of people fighting and talking without correct information, but just talking to start trouble. Keep something going. We have to stop that. We have to, again, and I'm not talking about religion, because religion sometimes interferes with us coming together. If you're not saved, you can't be in my group. Right. Or if you don't represent this God, then you're not part of me. We're all black, and we're all catching hell. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to look, start treating each other in a family way again.
You got to do it.
We have to do it.
Well, I want to thank you because you're part of family.
Yes, thank you very much. I have a song, Family Forever.
Family Forever. We are Family Forever. And I want to thank Nana Camille Yarborough for coming to share with us.
I thank you
once
for being
again,
here.
talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And, of course, you can find out more information about Black Lives Matter right here on Perspectives. We'll be talking about the movement. We'll be talking about the whole issue of race as we approach our 15th season. Thank you for watching here on Perspectives. I'm Darren Jaime. Until next time we meet, take care and God bless.